Hello?
Hello.
Yes?
Yes.
Hello?
Am I talking to María Corina Machado?
Yes, this is María Corina.
Yes, María Corina. My name is Christian Berghardt Piken. I am the secretary of the Norwegian Nobel Committee in Oslo. And I'm calling to inform you that in a few minutes it shall be announced here at the Nobel Institute that you will be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025.
Oh my God.
So the warmest congratulations to you, Maria.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, I have no words. I thank you so much, but I hope you understand this is a movement. This is a achievement of a whole society. I am just one person. I certainly do not deserve this. Oh my God.
I think both the movement and you deserve it.
These were the first thoughts when, groggy and tired after being woken in the middle of the night, Venezuelan opposition leader María Corina Machado was told that she was to be awarded the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. And these words highlight precisely why Machado deserves the award. Instead of self-congratulation or a sense of victory, her first thoughts were of others and of the movement for Venezuelan democracy. And in its statement, the Nobel Committee said that the award was, quote, for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. Machado was born in 1967 to a well-off industrial family in the capital, Caracas, and she studied industrial engineering at university. And her descent really started in 2004, when her NGO, the one that she co-founded, Sumate, called for a referendum to recall the former president, Hugo Chávez. Now, that referendum never came to pass, it failed. And she was charged with conspiracy alongside her colleagues, conspiracy for free speech and engaging in an allegedly democratic system. And she didn't stop, though. In 2010, she was elected to the National Assembly, using her position to, at one point, interrupt and boldly challenge Chavez during one of his long speeches on his expropriation of businesses. And his sneering response was, "An eagle does not hunt a fly." Well, that was remembered in Venezuelan political life. And her career has been defined by attempts at working in and through a system that is pretty violently weighted against any democratic change. And she ran for the presidency in 2012, was ousted from the National Assembly in 2014, and later that year barred from public office alongside accusations of being involved in an alleged plot to kill the current Venezuelan dictator Maduro, who took over in 2013 after Chavez died. Now, after 9 years of working in the background, she announced a presidential bid in 2023, winning the opposition's primary with over 90% of the vote. Maduro's party and the captured judiciary then stepped up efforts and kept her from appearing on the ballot. So she threw her support behind former diplomat and relatively unknown character, Edmundo González. Now, her campaign on González's behalf was relentless and really very human. She traveled the country on foot, hiking, and on a motorbike, and stayed in supporters' homes when she could. And the ruling party had those close to her arrested, even as she went around the country doing this. And the campaign was a success. According to voting machine records collected by the opposition movement and then validated and verified by international observers, González crushed Maduro in the president's elections with a vote share of more than 2-1. Despite this, the National Electoral Council, loyal to Maduro, declared him the winner of the July 28th, 2024 presidential elections. And the country erupted in protest. The regime then responded in the only way these sorts of regimes know how: violence and mass arrests. More than 2,000 people were detained, accused of plotting to oust Maduro. Well, I mean, that is how elections work. Machado's campaign manager was forced to shelter for over a year in a diplomatic compound in the capital until fleeing to the United States. Gonzalez, the winner of the election, had to flee to Spain, and Machado has avoided the public eye since January of this year. And her receiving of this award has received criticism from some, and that's even from some who claim to be on the democratic side. She dedicated the award to the Venezuelan people and, raising eyebrows for many, US President Donald Trump, and has been supportive of Israel. Well, I'm no friend of Israel, and I happily criticize her for that. But to some, this is enough to condemn her entirely and to bring the Nobel Committee's decision into question. And I really have to wonder about the experience of the people that are calling for that. Machado is in a deadly fight for her and her country's freedom from a tyrannical dictatorship more than willing to use power to maintain its grip on power, and more than willing to call on allies like Russia and China to ensure that it can stay in power. We know that Russia sent trainers to Venezuela, sent intelligence officials to Venezuela, and China is more than happy to sell surveillance equipment to Maduro's regime. So where is the pro-democracy movement meant to turn to other than the United States? And what other power could offer what the United States can? And when Nazi Germany invaded the USSR, British Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill famously said, quote, "If Hitler invaded hell, I would make at least a favourable reference to the devil in the House of Commons." And the second charge that is put against her, calling for a foreign intervention in her country, also fails to detract from her worth. Venezuelans live in a corrupt farce of a dictatorship, yet another failed attempt at socialism with all that follows: breadlines, corruption, poverty, and misery. Maduro's regime is illegitimate. They lost the election and did so, as I said earlier, with the support of Russian intelligence, trainers, and tech from China. So it's not unpatriotic to call for the help of allies in liberating your country from such a regime. It is sometimes necessary. In the World War II, French Marquis called for foreign intervention, as did many people in the former Yugoslavia in the wars there. Sometimes to defeat a dictatorship, you need help. No struggle, no real struggle, leaves clean hands. Compromises often have to be made, unpleasant deals done, and heavy burdens borne for a wider cause. And that's not to say that the ends always justify the means, but the charge levelled by some against Machado, that she is siding with Trump, that she's calling for intervention and therefore undeserving of the prize, strikes for me of the warm comfort of the privileged and unexperienced. And were I in her position, I would be talking to any democratic leader willing to pick up the phone. So Machado is very much deserving of the award. She is living her descent as Czech dissident and later President Viktor Havel advises in The Power of the Powerless, where he says, quote, "By breaking the rules of the game, he has disrupted the game as such. He has exposed it as a mere game. He has shattered the world of appearances, the fundamental pillar of the system. He has demonstrated that living a lie is living a lie. He has broken through the exalted facade of the system and exposed the real base foundations of power. And the base foundations of power of Maduro's regime are the stolen election in 2024 and the support of Russian and Chinese imperialism. The regime is a lie and a facade that Machado, through her movement and her bravery, is shattering. She is a fighter for democracy, a democrat versus the dictator."